Development of cognitive abilities in the Homo genus from Aarhus University. You may have noticed that this talk is scheduled under the name Garcia. Garcia?
Very good.
Depends on which Spanish-speaking country you're from.
Yeah, or which region in Spain too.
Also. But you don't find Garcia in the abstract booklet. There is listed on the P as Perea, which is the correct alphabetical listing. So, just so you can find it. And, as usual, you have 20 minutes. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm a MA student in a program that's very focused on research. So they leave us a lot of freedom to look into whichever topics we're interested in. With maybe the common denominator that we tend to look into topics of the humanities and the social sciences with methods, ideas or approaches from the natural sciences. So in this talk I'm going to do one of these incursions in the social sciences. I'm going to be a bit nosy and I'm going to talk about tendencies in considering humans as inherently competitive, which has led some trends in primatology, evolutionary biology, but most importantly in the social sciences, when talking about humans, to think that the development of cognitive abilities has been mainly driven by competition between conspecifics, so between humans. So this debate goes back to a long time ago, and it takes this very dichotomic, naive form of asking ourselves, are we good or are we bad by nature? I mean, we can find all these examples to say that we're good because kindness, yada yada, or bad, and this has given a lot of interesting insights and works in literature and in philosophy. So all these very epic one long sentence that sort of explain the nature of human beings, and yeah, people like this stuff. So the incursion from the natural sciences into the social sciences should be something, we should find a way in which we can understand each other, because these have been traditionally encapsulated and having had a lot of contact. And the first thing to say about this question from the natural sciences is probably that it's a wrong question. You can't really answer to that from the natural sciences. Good or bad are not domains of what the natural sciences are concerned with. This is more an issue of ethics or morals or philosophy in general. So a better way to formulate this question in such a way that the natural sciences can approach it would be maybe to ask to what extent humans can be said to be cooperative or competitive, which we map onto the categories of good and bad. Because of course when you're talking about cooperation, you're not talking about cooperation with a rabbit or a shark, you're talking about cooperation with other humans. And likewise, you would say that a shark, or maybe not a shark, shark is always bad for humans, or for us Westerners. But rabbits, for example, rabbits are seen as bad when they eat another rabbit maybe, but not when they eat a small insect to complement their diet of grass and berries or whatever. So in evolutionary psychology and in primatology, which is where I'm going to be drawing a lot of ideas from, this debate has been framed in the more general debate of the development of cognitive abilities. What drove our genus to make us behave in such a distinctive way from other of our most related kin in the animal kingdom. this had some trends between saying that the search for food or natural resources was the major drive for the major catalyst for the development of cognitive abilities, but soon, or yeah, around the 60s, 70s, those who saw social complexity as a proxy for complex cognitive abilities, or more generally intelligence, and made correlates with brain size, relative brain size. Between those who found social complexity as a catalyst for the development of cognitive abilities, there was initially a lot of focus and a lot of emphasis on competition as this kind of the way we interact, so in deception or in manipulation. This gave rise to the Machiavellian hypothesis, which has been mentioned in the previous talk, or the social brain hypothesis, which is already sort of getting away from this focus on competition. And it has also given rise to today very recent theories such as the Wary cooperation hypothesis, which is very close to what the previous speaker was describing, his view on cooperation and competition being intermingled. So there has been in the natural sciences a trend from thinking that we're mainly competitive and that's what's given rise to these cognitive abilities, to saying that we're both competitive and cooperative, which is just in our nature. We can see it all the time, and there is this tendency to be cooperative with in-group members and competitive with out-group members, and at the same time there's this tendency to create groups, out-groups and in-groups, and reinforce this through institutions and artificial things that we call artificial. But it's not the same in the social sciences. There are some recent, like this criticism that has been raised before about the natural sciences still being very focused on competition. I would say that's, in my view, it's not so important today. I mean, there might still be this tendency, but this tendency is definitely still there in the social sciences in a way that hinders much of the development of the social sciences, I would say. So in an important way. Which is to say that the social sciences remain Huxleyan because if incursions have been strange from the natural sciences into the social sciences, I would say that this is one of the first from biology as we know it today into the social sciences, and it's remained stuck there for a good while. So I'm going to show how looking at the eyes can show very easily that this view doesn't hold, that we're inherently competitive, self-seeking, rationalist, as has been called in social sciences. So I want to ask what the eyes are for. Pretty obvious.
Seeing.
Good, thank you. So yeah, the eyes are for seeing, but apart from that capital function, in humans, the eyes can also be for all these things. I have made this in green because you could sort of map this on being good and this on being bad, but really I don't think this is very illustrative of anything. This is a rough functional classification that serves mostly, or at least I'm using it to show you that the eyes can serve an array of functions that goes well beyond seeing, and that very importantly doesn't consist on us getting information from the outside, but on giving information to the others in a way that's, I mean, it's very funny because you yourself don't have access to this information typically unless you look at yourself to yourself in a mirror, which is a rare event historically, I would say. So yeah. So the eyes do this thing. You could argue that in other animals it works that way too. Cats, for example, if you look at them in the eye, they'll try to look away, and between themselves, between conspecifics, eyes also provide a wealth of information about each other that could be said to go along these lines. But of course, not really. I mean, in humans, the eyes comply with a lot more communicative functions than in any other species, I would say. And this is a marked difference from primates. Like a pointer. Oh yeah, seeing too. The die is for myself. Shit, sorry. So this is because in humans the physiology of the eyes has adapted in a way that it hasn't in any other genus between primates, to provide a really strong contrast between the iris and the pupil and the sclera, and also with the skin. So the way this has been done mostly is actually not a change in color, even though there is a change in color in sclera and in humans and other primates, but through, well, our eyes are popping out, pretty much. They're coming out of eye sockets in such a way that the sclera is very exposed. This has been suggested to have many adaptive functions, like having a better eyesight in planes, for example. But it obviously complies or enables or facilitates certain communicative functions, such as this that I have outlined before. Yeah, this is a comparative study, I think, by Kobayashi and Koshima, or maybe